couple of questions about the two-day workshop that has been conducted on gaming and gaming regarding VR. So I ask you how you see what you're talking about in these 2 days about VR changing modes of storytelling.
Okay.
And also similarly, how do you see shifts in patterns of media consumption in VR? What are these kind of shifts in terms of experience as you work?
To begin with, VR has been around for a quite long time. VR was the first place where VR got into application was defense military applications where people are using flight simulators because it's pretty expensive to do all the training with real flights. So I think the US military were doing it for a couple of decades from now, and then Nintendo came up in late 90s. They created a VR console where you can actually play games in VR. What it took to where it is right now with all the VR buzz, it was a single, like a huge initiation from Facebook by acquiring Oculus. So to actually sort of give a perspective, VR was already there, but it was not given enough spotlight to actually to be where it is right now. So right now there's a lot of funding has been going through VR, and people are coming with amazing ideas. There is VR exclusive games for Oculus and everything and all. But one thing we have to remember is we are right now not at the full potential or near full potential of VR. Right now we are just barely playing our hands with what we can, with very simple technology infrastructure we can do. So just like in late 70s, even computers were at that position. It took like few people like Steve Jobs and other awesome guys to actually push it to the mass consumers. So right now every designers, engineers and game developers and people from other industry to take it as a responsibility. It's actually them who have to work hard to bring it to the masses. In terms of experience, obviously, I mean, VR provides you an unparalleled experience. It makes you feel like you're actually present in a scenario. You have all this, even though you have like a 360-degree video sort of gets all the stereotypic audio inputs, and naturally it gives you a sense of presence of where you are right now.
How do you see this changing decisions in terms of creating content for people who want to build in VR and do?
So in the technical aspect, the advantages in the technical aspect, there is no difference in the pipeline you have to use. So it's purely on the creative and directional aspect. So so the way you can make clearly distinct an app between usual 2D flat screen and a VR app is that you bring elements of depth into it. Like when you make a VR app, you have to make sure there is element of depth with like sort of set itself apart from the other counterparts. And there is one more thing, sound, which can play a huge impact on this. And you can actually have a lot of things happening, like have even the design perspective, you have to make sure there's a lot of things happening which sort of attracts the people's attention. In VR, like you have to make sure you pull the attraction of the user because it's constantly facing in a direction, and somehow through sounds or through a guide design mechanism, you have to make sure you pull that their attraction and concentration towards that point. When you're able to crack that, that is when VR will be an amazing experience.
Do you think that is still not yet?
It's pure design, as I said. That technically there is no. Yeah, I'm just saying that when you design an app like that, that would be awesome. And I would actually love to play that kind of app, which constantly keeps gets my attention throughout the 360. Something like that.
You did mention that these are sort of early days.
Yeah. So this is really a sort of early day right now, and to see its full potential we at least need a decades of rapid evolutionary innovation, not revolutionary innovation, not evolutionary innovation. So I really hope like a lot of engineers and designers come together and do wonderful things on top of it. The huge problem in VR is like there is very limited amount of inputs, and what people have to work on like different mechanisms and ways that they can actually have multiple inputs given to the 3D world. Because the legacy mouse and keyboard stuff don't work here. Even trackpads don't work for an extent. And after that, when things go in the same line, and like the future is like super weird. Like people will start to have brain implants which directly contact with your like eye tissues, directly transferring information rather than having a headset mount then that's a matrix situation. So that will be like I'm kind of guessing it would somehow find its way over there. I'm not sure how soon, maybe half a decade or something like that.
Half a decade?
Yeah. So there are still people are able to get outputs from the human body using the nerve endings and a kind of a binary input from the brain frequency, and I think things going in that perspective, things are going in the right direction. But in terms of like in terms of having differential kind of inputs, people have to really research into it and see how things can work on that perspective. And also the inputs, like directly giving the input to the brain rather than having an extra eye interface over it, that would be more efficient and more believable, I think.